Hi everyone, I'm Sean Kennedy and I'm just giving a shot at doing a video blog. You can find a lot of my past blogs, my writing on a website called manualassembly.net, and I'll put links below everything I'm going to talk about. If there are links, I'll include them here and have a blog post up on manualassembly.net as well. And so today I want to talk to you about three things ranging around the OSLC community. I'm the OSLC community development leader for IBM, and I've spent a lot of my time, energy, passion working on this project called OSLC. That's open community producing open specifications to facilitate integration of software. So if you need to learn more about OSLC, I suggest you go over to open-services.net and start looking at it there. As well, you'll find lots of stuff about OSLC in my past writings. So the three things I'd like to talk to you today about is the growing interest in OSLC, the fact that we've created a new developer page, and it would be really good to get your feedback on that, and what's new with the OSLC core work group and Oasis, the fact that there's now an OSLC member section at Oasis, and OSLC core is on track to become the first affiliated technical committee, or TC, at Oasis. So let's start in the interest in OSLC. I spend a lot of my time, I get a lot of opportunity to speak to different companies, speak to them about OSLC, about how they might enable their existing software to consume or produce OSLC data, depending on what their needs are. And I'm seeing a really interesting trend over the last little while. I'm getting connected by people over LinkedIn, looking to learn more about how they participate in the community, how the community works, how specs get developed, how they could contribute scenarios. And when we talk, I hope it's helpful to them, but I try to assist them in understanding how what they have today in their software connects with what's available in the specifications at OSLC. So that might be that they need to pick up the automation spec and the quality management spec, or that they should spend some time working with the performance monitoring specification, or that they should come and contribute some new scenarios to the architecture management work group and participate there to drive it through. So it's different things at different times, but I guess another trend here is that a lot of what companies are looking to do at this point, they can achieve a first step, an initial value. Almost the shameful minimum viable product kind of idea. Not that that's shameful, but that it's so shamefully overused and repeated it so many times, but that they could achieve that using OSLC today. So that's great. And we also talk then about what developer resources are available to assist them doing work. And there's a whole bunch of resources available at the Eclipse Leo project. And that brings us to the second point, the developer page. And also maybe one of the reasons why we started out at creating this developer page on open-services.net instead of always pointing everyone to the Eclipse Leo project. Now, as it is right now, the link is not the most intuitive, so I'll post that link below, and hopefully you'll find your way to it and find it useful and give us some feedback, because we do want to improve it. This is really just a first start, but why we wanted to do this, why we needed to do this, I think, at open-services.net is that, well, actually not everything is at the Eclipse Leo project. There is the OSLC for Net project that's over at Codeplex, but also because we've been getting a lot of companies who developed their software not using the Eclipse IDE, and they don't use Java, so they hear Eclipse and they say it's not for me. But there's a lot of things they could still use there, even if the OSLC for J library isn't something that they're going to end up using. They can still make use of the test suites to validate that their implementation is useful, or they could make use of the reference implementations and the samples, even though they can't reuse the code, just to see how things work. You could put up the reference implementation, put up a test suite, and have have the test suite execute against the reference implementation, and then debug that and see what it does, see what the steps are in code. And I think that's a great way to learn. It's a really great way to learn technology, and I don't want people missing that opportunity just because they're not a Java developer. So on the Open Services .NET page, we've got resources, and it's an OSLC centric, not an Eclipse Leo centric. And we still link down into Leo or to OSLC for Net if that's where the ultimate resource is that you need, but you don't need to be turned off on that right away. Just another thought on this, on how important developers are to the success of OSLC. Well, it's the developers who create the implementations, and it's the implementations that make the OSLC specifications mean anything at all. Just a bunch of specs is nothing. There's no interest in that. So having implementations is great, and one of the cool things about OSLC is that every new implementation increases the value of all the existing implementations, and it makes it easier for other people to decide that, hey, I'll do an implementation too, because there's one more piece of software that I can connect to automatically without doing any extra work, and I'll have an integration in place. So that's great. Now, the last thing I want to talk to before we end off this video is just a little update on the OSLC core work group. Well, that work group is actually on its way to becoming a technical committee affiliated with the OSLC member section at Oasis. Today is the last day for comments on the charter that was submitted, and the charter was submitted by Ericsson, IBM, Connexus, KTH, Software AG, and TaskTop. And it doesn't look like there will be any major comments, so it should be moving forward to the next phase in the process, which is the call for participation. And I really hope that you would consider participation, even if the technical aspects of the OSLC core specification and other common specs that they may end up laying out aren't of particular interest to you, because while that's one thing that the OSLC core technical committee will be responsible for, it also has a lot of influence over the overall direction, especially technical direction of OSLC, but also over the coordination of activities between and across other affiliated TCs. And yeah, there aren't any other affiliated TCs just yet, but every work group that is active at open-services.net today will eventually, over the months ahead, also be joining Oasis as a technical committee affiliated with the OSLC member section. And so when it comes to scenarios that are cross-cutting, that aren't limited only to a domain like change management or like automation or performance monitoring, when it comes to a scenario that's going to cut across all of that, then it will be up to the OSLC core technical committee to help make sure that the work to enable that scenario is coordinated across all the technical committees that need to be involved, and also that it makes sense to do these kinds of things, that the scenario makes sense both at a practical level but also at a technical level. So I think there's a lot of exciting work in core. It's maybe not as dull as you might think it is. It's not only the guts of OSLC that they're working on in the OSLC core technical committee, but also really a vision for OSLC as well. So that's it for now. I hope this was helpful. I hope it was enjoyable. I hope the bad video and hopefully not too bad audio didn't turn you off too much, and I hope the long running time isn't too much of a hard time either. I'm sure I'll be better at making these shorter in the future. But anyway, I wanted to get those three things out to you today, how there's this interest in OSLC that I'm seeing that's making me busy, and that's a great thing. That we've got a new developer page. Check out the link below and give some feedback on that, and how the OSLC core technical committee is pretty much one step closer to being a reality at Oasis. Alright, so until next time, I'm Sean Kennedy. I was at the beginning, I am at the end, and I will still be until next time and at next time. Alright, see See you later. Bye.